Alright guys, allow me to address this in English because it is very important for all Africans and the entire communities and everybody to hear this message loud and clear. Alright, we all know what has been happening in South Africa, and this is not the first time. And let me just say, this is not because I am against South Africa or I hate South African people, or I'm making this video for, for the all Africans to hate South African people. That is not the reason why I'm doing this, but I'm making this video as a reminder, because the essence of what we see, all these videos circulating online, fellow African brothers and sisters been beaten down simply because they are non-South Africa in South Africa is crazy. And mind you, these videos are taken by the people who are beating them down. To send a message to anyone that if you're an African, this is what will happen to you. So I feel this urgency and to make this video and to speak a little bit about this. First of all, South Africa, it was the last country to receive our independence in the continent of Africa. And because it was going through apartheid, and they went through a hell of experience. And not only South Africa, but so many African countries went through that when you talk about colonialism and everything. And that time, I remember most of African countries step up to support and to stand with South Africa as it's supposed to be. All right. I remember, the first president of Tanzania, Julius Kambarage Nyerere, he actually stood up and fully supported South Africa. There was a time that Nelson Mandela, he came to Tanzania and he was not even required to have a visa. He was given the documents to pass by here. And as a result, today, as I'm saying, there are actually people in the southern side of Tanzania who are actually coming from South Africa. Most of them are Ngoni tribe right there. Right. The same thing with so many other countries in the continent. I know the story of how Nelson Mandela, he was actually also given free pass to go to Ethiopia. Right. He was allocated there, and he stayed there without any document, because he was given all these documents for him to stay there. As a result, he came and he had to fight for South Africa, and South Africa received her independence. Right. So many African countries stood in solidarity with South Africa to make sure that apartheid come to an end and bring about independence to the country, to the beautiful country of South Africa. So what is happening today, it is the lack of awareness, and it is the mindset that we need to shift in our brain, right? I always talk about this, the three enemies of Africa. The first one is mindset. It's not white, it's not brown, it's not yellow. Those are not enemies of Africa. The first enemy of Africa is mindset. When you look at all these videos that are going on through the social media and how people are talking about that, these guys are coming here, they're taking us our job, these guys are coming here, they're not documented, they take us out, they take our jobs, we don't sleep, they have good houses, they're sleeping in them, and we don't have. What kind of mindset is this? So if that is the case, the only solution for you to take is to beat down your brothers and sisters. Why don't you protest against your government to do something about it? Why don't you go to people who are hiring these foreigners to hire you? And by the way, even the fact that, the fact of us saying that Africans are foreigners is just nonsense. It doesn't make sense. Africans can never be illegal migrants in Africa. This is their home. Africans can never be foreigner in Africa, because this is their home. We're Africans. This is our place. This is our home. Today, South African, you come here, Tanzania, of course, we'll see you as South African, but you're black, but you belong here. This is your home. You know what I'm saying? This is your home, and that's why we continue to fight. And we speak to African Union, we speak to the leaders of Africa that this is the time to remove all these restrictions, because you guys are delaying the process of one Africa, and that's why these things are happening. These things are happening under your watch. These things are happening. Do you know how many people are being killed simply because they're not coming from your country? It's a shame that this thing is happening in Africa today. It's a shame that Africans were targeting against each other simply because we're not South African. And this is happening in South Africa in another level, but in other countries in the continent of Africa, it's happening as well. We are discriminating each other simply because this person is not Tanzanian, simply because this person is not Kenyan, or is not Ethiopian, or is not South African, or is not Ghanaian, or is not Nigerian. This is happening, and we cannot allow this to happen. We cannot. The delay that we've been delaying for so long time for the One Africa, this is the time for African Union to step up actually and to make initiative. And I know not only is African Union will make that decision, but all the leaders of Africa should stand up in solidarity and condemn what is happening in the country of South Africa. Because these people, they don't know, South Africa, let me talk to you guys. There's a lot of South Africans all across the continent of Africa. So what you're doing to your fellow brothers and sisters, it can be done to your fellow brothers and sisters in other countries as well. And that's what we don't want it to happen. Man, you will only reap what you sow. If you sow the seed of anger, the seed of division, the seed of criminal activities, or whatever seed that you are sowing today, you're going to reap that one day. And this has to stop. Has to stop. If there's illegal Africans in your country, let your government, let whatever is there to deal with it. But you cannot take matters in your own hand and beating your brothers and sisters down. Some of them, they have families there. Some of them, they moved long time ago. Some of them got even married there. And why are you doing this to them? Why would you do something like that to them? Why? Why would you take matters in your own hand and do something to them? All right, if there are people who are doing some criminal activities in your country and you feel like, oh, these guys are doing, but it's not all of them. Let the justice take its course. But you cannot take matters in your own hand and start beating your brothers and sisters and killing them simply because they are not from your country. This is wrong. We cannot allow that to happen in our continent. We cannot allow to happen in our countries. How did we get here? Today, I'm telling you, if our forefathers will be resurrected today and come to life, you know what? They will beg to go back to the grave again. Why? Because they'll be like, this is not the Africa we fought for. This is not the countries we fought for. They bled. Some of our ancestors actually were killed, most of them. Why? Because they're fighting for our independence so that Africans can be free. Today, you're treating brothers and sisters like that. I've seen Nigerians being beaten down. I've seen Tanzanians being beaten down. I've seen Ghanaians being beaten down. I've seen different countries of Africa being beaten down. Why this is happening? And some other guys, you don't even understand. You come into my comment section and asking that, you don't know the story behind. You don't know this. Are you justifying that for real? Are you justifying that? You don't see it with your own eyes? And I know this is not all South Africans. I know there's a lot of South Africans there condemning this. I know my brothers and sisters. I have my brothers and sisters in South Africa in this community. I know they condemn it, and we need to raise a voice. We need to raise a voice. When we fight for one Africa, when we fight for a single passport, when we fight for a borderless Africa, when we fight for no visas in Africa, this is what we mean. This is what we mean, because our people are being killed, our people are being beaten down simply because they're not South African. Man, in your country, you even got a name of the continent, South Africa, and you beat people from Zimbabwe. Those people are from South Africa. You beat people from Malawi. Those people are South Africans. You have the name of the continent in your name. South African. South Africa. So when you see that, when you see them Africans there, why do you get pissed off because of them? Nobody can take your job if you're qualified to have a job. Nobody. Whoever who is taking your job there, it means they have more qualification than you. So what you have to deal with, work on your qualifications, get qualifications, but don't beat down your brothers and sisters simply because they're in a foreign land. And since when, man? This Africa is one place. We need to fight for one Africa. Africans, anywhere in this continent is your home. Yes, right now, we don't have open borders, so you need to carry your visa, you need to carry your passport to go there. Please do that, as much as we don't have, permission to move around the continent freely. But we need to fight for that right now. It is the urgent call for African Union, because if you don't do it right now, leaders of Africa, if you don't do that right now, it's not just going to happen to to other Africans in the country of South Africa, but it will happen to all other immigrants throughout the continent of Africa. Because these people have waited for so long. Imagine if Nigerians start beating down South Africans in Nigeria. Because this rage, this anger that we are creating, people, they're not going to care whether you're there legally or illegal. We have seen people with documents. They have documents and being beaten down. That's what is going to happen to the entire continent. And we don't want that to happen. Why that is happening today? Why Africans are we fighting against each other? Why this has to be between Africans and Africans? We are the problem. The mindset is messed up, and that is the first enemy of Africa. First enemy of Africa, mindset. That's according to me. Second enemy of Africa is leaders. And I'm writing a book about it, who are always letting us down. The third enemies of Africa, those people who are taking advantage of the continent and Africans. These people can be black, these people can be white, these people can be yellow, these people can be brown, these people can be green. Anybody can take advantage of Africa, and they're in the third category. These are enemies of Africa. But all of them, they go down. The bottom line is mindset. Mindset, guys, mindset. Whenever you see your fellow African brothers and sisters, don't judge them based on their countries. Don't judge them based on their religion. Don't judge them based on their tribes, but judge them based on their character. That's what it has to be. That's how it has to be. That's why today you see, some Christian being killed in Nigeria. It has been happening a lot. And even the government there doesn't do anything about it. Why? Because the Christians are being killed. But you don't even think for once that these are my fellow Nigerian brothers and sisters. These are my fellow Africans. Why do you do that to them? What kind of messed up mentality is this? Since when beating down your fellow Africans, killing down your fellow Africans has been normal? Since when? Man, I'm going to condemn it with every breath of my being until he stops it. Because we cannot allow this happen, not under our watch. God has blessed us with this continent, and we've been given privilege to be in this beautiful continent, the Garden of Eden, the motherland, the Alkebulan. We are here, and we cannot just watch these things happening without doing anything. It is my call to the President of South Africa. It is the time. President Ramaphosa, it is your time right now to make a call and to put a stop and to an end to all this wickedness that is happening. It is my call to my fellow South Africans. South Africans, it is the time to put this to an end. It is the time for the fellow Africans all across the continent and outside to put this to an end. We cannot allow this to happen.